Imagine a horror movie villain, silent, invisible, relentless. That's Ebola. No claws, no fangs, just a virus hijacking your body, turning it against itself. Each outbreak is a new chapter of fear, tearing at trust and community. The real terror? It's not fiction, it's here and it's deadly. Just before we dive in, kindly subscribe to the @HealthExplorer channel to learn more about health and wellness and support what we do. This isn't a movie. Ebola's victims are real, their pain profound. To fight fear, we need facts. Knowledge is our shield. We'll explore Ebola's origins, its devastation, and the courage of those who fight it. Understanding is our best defense. Let's face this threat, together and informed. 1976, Central Africa. A strange, deadly illness emerges near the Ebola River. Patients bleed, fear spreads, and a new name, Ebola, a viral hemorrhagic fever, enters medical history. The mortality rate is shocking. The cause, a mystery. Scientists scramble for answers as the monster claims its first victims. The world's nightmare has begun. Mabelo Lokela, a school headmaster, becomes Ebola's first known victim. Symptoms mimic malaria, but soon, uncontrollable bleeding reveals the truth. Hospitals become death traps. Reused needles spread the virus. Communities are devastated. Fear and superstition take hold. Ebola's deadly dance leaves sorrow and confusion in its wake. Under the electron microscope, Ebola is a filovirus. Elegant, lethal. It destroys the immune system, causes organ failure and internal bleeding. With no cure, early outbreaks meant near certain death. The world meets a microscopic killer with terrifying efficiency. 2014, Ebola erupts in West Africa, overwhelming fragile health systems. Thousands die, communities collapse, and the world watches in fear. Healthcare workers fight bravely, often at great personal cost. International aid is slow, the outbreak spirals, the monster is no longer contained. Ebola crosses oceans, Dallas, Texas, then Europe. One case sparks global panic. Fear spreads faster than the virus. The threat feels personal, immediate. The world realizes no one is immune. Media frenzy amplifies fear. Hazmat suits, myths, and misinformation dominate. Panic leads to travel bans, quarantines, and stigma. Anxiety soars. Facts are drowned by hysteria. The psychological toll is immense. Sometimes panic is as dangerous as the disease. Global health systems scramble. Makeshift clinics, exhausted workers, economic collapse. The outbreak exposes weaknesses and the need for better preparedness. Lives and livelihoods are lost. The world learns hard lessons. Ebola's impact is a wake-up call for global health. Surviving Ebola is rare, a battle that leaves scars inside and out. Survivors face stigma, isolation, but also carry hope and resilience. Their stories are of endurance, small joys, and humanity shining through darkness. Even in nightmares, life persists. Against all odds, some dance again. Let's talk about the heroes in hazmat suits. Doctors, nurses, hygienists, burial teams, local staff, and international volunteers side by side. They walked willingly into the inferno. Their mission to save lives, to comfort, even knowing each shift could be their last. Dressed head to toe in suffocating PPE, yellow suits, goggles, masks, multiple gloves. It was honestly like working in a personal sauna for hours on end in the tropical heat. Dehydration was a constant enemy, and communication became a muffled struggle through layers of masks. Seeing patients suffer, many of them children, the emotional toll was unimaginable, just crushing at times. Yet somehow, they found strength in each other. A shared glance, a pat on the back, small gestures of solidarity and support. They were the thin line between chaos and care, a beacon of compassion in a sea of fear. Many gave everything, including their own lives. There were moments of gallows humor too. You have to laugh, or you'll cry, they'd say. One doctor recounted how his goggles always fogged up, making him look like a confused, sweaty alien. He'd joke about needing windscreen wipers for his face. Another nurse taught her colleagues a silly dance to do during their brief, precious breaks, a moment of release, a way to shake off the horror. These were not just medical professionals. They were human beings, pushed to their limits. Their courage inspired the world, but it also highlighted a grim reality: the desperate shortage of trained personnel, the risks they were forced to take. Some were even ostracized by their own families, feared for the work they were doing. Yet, they persisted, day after grueling day. Their dedication was a fierce act of defiance against a virus that sought to destroy. These warriors fought back with every ounce of their being. When Ebola strikes a community, it tears at its fabric. Traditions of comfort become pathways of contagion. Washing the dead, a sacred ritual, now deadly. Hugging a grieving friend, a dangerous impulse. The virus forced a painful reevaluation of everything that held people together. Fear could easily turn neighbor against neighbor. Suspicion could fester, and communities could break. But often, something remarkable happened. People found new ways to connect, to support one another. Community leaders and religious figures stepped up. They became educators, mythbusters, voices of calm. Local volunteers, often survivors themselves, braved the risks to trace contacts and deliver aid. They understood the culture, the fears, the needs. Their role was absolutely critical, indispensable. They adapted messages, found ways to explain how to stay safe without abandoning compassion. It was a grassroots defense built on trust, a powerful antidote to the spreading panic. New greetings emerged, a sign of the times: the Ebola handshake, an elbow bump or a foot tap, sometimes looking like a funny jig. It brought a moment of shared, awkward laughter, a small act of normalcy in a world turned upside down. Children learned songs about washing their hands. Markets found new ways to operate safely. Life, though scarred and changed, went on. Resilience wasn't just a word, it was action. It was a daily choice to fight for normalcy. The nightmare of Ebola tested humanity. It showed our vulnerabilities, our fears, but it also illuminated our profound strengths: the capacity for selfless courage in healthcare workers, the incredible will to live seen in survivors, and the unbreakable spirit of communities that refuse to let fear extinguish hope entirely. They learned to survive, to adapt, to rebuild, slowly, painstakingly, piece by piece. The echoes of the nightmare remain, but so does the hope. How do you catch a killer you can't see? Diagnosing Ebola is urgent and tricky. Early symptoms, fever, headache, muscle aches, sort of mimics the typical flu or malaria, but every hour counts. The answer lies in specialized lab tests, like PCR, which finds the virus's genetic fingerprints. But these tests need time and high-tech labs. Rapid diagnostic tests, or RDTs, can give results in minutes, right at the outbreak's heart. Once a case is confirmed, contact tracing begins, a race to find and isolate every possible new ember before the fire spreads. For years, treating Ebola felt hopeless. There was no cure, just supportive care, fluids, oxygen, pain relief. Doctors fought to keep patients alive, hoping their immune systems would win. But science advanced. Experimental drugs and monoclonal antibodies like Inmazeb and Ibanga changed the game, boosting survival rates. The Ebola treatment unit became a fortress of care, staffed by brave workers enduring exhaustion and risk. Compassion mattered too. A gloved hand, a reassuring word, hope in the darkest times. These healthcare warriors dispensed hope as generously as medicine. With Ebola, prevention is far better than cure. Public health campaigns became our frontline defense. Simple messages like "wash your hands" often and "avoid contact with the sick." Then, science delivered a breakthrough: the Ervebo vaccine. Ring vaccination built a shield of immunity, stopping outbreaks in their tracks. This was a triumph of science and global teamwork. But the fight isn't over. Ebola still flares up, and vigilance is vital. We need strong health systems, constant surveillance, and to never let our guard down. So, the credits roll on this particular horror movie. But the fear? That doesn't just vanish. Ebola, our real-life monster, taught us brutal lessons. It showed us how unprepared we were, how quickly panic can overshadow reason. It revealed the cracks in our global health armor. This wasn't a film we could just walk away from. Its lessons are etched in sorrow and sacrifice. The biggest lesson? This threat is very, very real, and it demands our unwavering, constant attention. The monster you see isn't truly vanquished. Ebola still lurks in the shadows, a persistent risk. it can re-emerge, sparking new outbreaks, new fears. Survivors face long-term health problems, the post-Ebola syndrome, lingering joint pain, vision issues, neurological challenges, and the psychological scars. They run incredibly deep. The fear of resurgence is a heavy cloak, worn by communities that have faced its wrath. This isn't a monster that stays politely dead, it's a sequel waiting for an opportunity. But every horror show, even this one, offers wisdom. We learned that borders mean nothing to a virus. An outbreak anywhere is a threat everywhere. Global solidarity isn't just a nice idea, it's survival. We need each other, plain and simple. Investment in one nation's health is an investment in all. The world is a very small, interconnected place. This virus rammed that point home, didn't it? We are, quite literally, all in this together. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And let's not forget the human spirit, the staggering courage of healthcare workers, the resilience of survivors, their will to live, the communities that fought back with information and care. These aren't just statistics in a grim ledger. They are testaments to what we can endure and what we can achieve when we stand united. The horror was real, the loss is profound, but the heroism, that was real too. And that's a lesson worth holding on to tightly. So how do we write a less terrifying sequel? The solutions aren't secret or overly complex. First, strengthen public health systems everywhere, not just in wealthy countries, but globally. This means more funding, more training, more resources. Early detection is key. Rapid response is crucial. We need robust surveillance to spot the monster early, before it grows, before it spreads, before it kills. Investment in research must continue relentlessly for better diagnostics, better treatments, better vaccines. Next, we must support our frontline warriors, the healthcare workers who risk everything. They need proper equipment, training, and support, both physical and psychological. They are our first defense, and we must fight the other virus misinformation. Stigma and fear can be as deadly as Ebola itself. Clear, accurate communication is paramount. Empower local communities. They know their people. They are often the true heroes of outbreak control. Listen to them. Work with them. Trust them. This is where you come in. Yes, you. Don't just change the channel on this story. Stay informed. Understand the ongoing risks. Advocate for strong public health policies and funding. Support organizations working on the ground, those fighting Ebola and strengthening global health security. This isn't just their problem over there. As we've seen, over there can become right here very quickly. Your voice, your awareness, your action matters. It truly, genuinely does. Ebola is a terrifying villain, no doubt, a horror movie no one ever asked to see. But unlike a movie monster, this one can be fought. With science, with courage, with compassion, with unwavering international cooperation. We have the tools. We have the knowledge. The question is, do we have the sustained will? Let's choose to write a better ending. One where preparedness trumps panic, and where humanity united keeps the monster at bay.